Hello, how's everybody doing today? Happy new moon to you. What is today? December 28th, 2024. My name is Gina Virginia Casella, and I'm so happy to be here with you today. So, for the next few months till the end of March, I'll be coming here on YouTube Live at 11 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time to share with you some things I'm passionate about, like the moon cycle. I like working with the moon cycle. I like having some kind of structure for my logical mind to make sense out of, bridging the logical mind with the creative mind, the dream world with the waking world, and other dimensions, places, and spaces at that. So, um, I'm, like I said, really happy to be here today. And I wanted to remind everybody that with the new moon, I like to focus on snake energy. And what that means is snake energy reminds us to loosen and to let go the darkness of the womb and tomb, where we can seek solitude and also find refuge, where we can shed our skins, where we can be vulnerable. And for some of us, that snake skin, it comes off really easy, clean, nice tube. For others, it comes off all tattered and shredded. And for others, it hasn't even come off yet. It's getting pretty tight, constricted feelings. And in waking life, real biological snakes here on planet Earth, when their skin gets too thick, it goes right over their whole entire eyes, face, nose, right? The whole body exoskeleton thickens. And um, they actually, it blinds them because they can't see. So they're vulnerable with this, as the snake skin, like the skin is there to protect them, but then it starts to work against them, is what I'm trying to say, because it's like wearing clothes that are too small. And eventually that clothes starts to crack off. And the intention is that when it cracks off a nice clean tube, and that we're not shredding it. We're not wearing tattered clothing, tattered skin, if you will. And if we are, that we can go through processes, which I help facilitate as a transformational healer, to help you move on with your life, identifying and smashing false inhibiting beliefs. But again, working with snake energy, um, the idea of the womb and tomb, the duality, is very appealing for myself personally. So I'd love to hear in the comments how you can relate to anything that I'm saying. And this business of snake, um, being in the South, because the South is the snake's territory, if you will, the snake's domain. And it's a hot place, it's dark, um, and it represents the beginning. And for myself personally, I've engaged in a lot of meditations that have come together where there's this beautiful imagery of the elementals, the beginning of time, time primordial, the dripping of the water that somehow transforming into sand, sand and water getting mixed together to make things like fish and other creatures. And this idea of the worm or the sperm, the fish, the penetrator, the one that goes out, the one who goes for the journey. And for me personally, that all is representative of the snake, and the snake not having any arms or legs, just having a smooth belly, and that vulnerability of having the smooth belly, um, going forward on the journey. So there's lots of literary devices going on, um, metaphorically, nothing poking you, stabbing you, slowing you down, and also you building that snake skin so that you can have a suit of armor, if you will, to help you on the journey so you can go over those rough surfaces. And so, um, working with duality, the opposite of the south is the north, and the north hummingbird reminds us of those high quality items. And so it's time to do one of my favorite things. I have a lot of favorite things. I think anything that involves shamanism, opening up sacred space, engaging in ceremony is really appealing for me these days. And since I've stepped out of the spiritual closet, Glad that's over. My life seems to be flowing a lot better now with a lot more ease. And I feel like I just feel a lot more comfortable in my own skin. Speaking of snake skin, sharing my own spiritual autonomy journey, thoughts, feelings, and opinions with you. And so um, I'm wondering about you and how you can relate. So let's open up some sacred space. And it starts with the Witikocha. To the energies of the south and to the great winds of the south, great serpent, who celebrate you today with the new moon, the darkness, the womb and tomb. Wrap your coils of light around us. Teach us to shed the past the way you shed your skin, to show us the beauty way. Aho. To the winds of the west, Mother Jaguar, protect us the way of peace, to live impeccably. Show us the way beyond death. Aho. To the winds of the north, Hummingbird, grandmothers and grandfathers, ancient ones, come and warm your hands by our fires. Whisper to us in the wind. We honor you, you who have come before us, you who come after us, our children's children. Aho. To the winds of the east, great eagle condor, come to us from the place of the rising sun. Keep us under your wing. Show us to live impeccably. Show us the mountains we only dare to dream of. Teach us to fly wingtip to wingtip with the Great Spirit. Aho. Mother Earth, we've gathered for the honoring of all your children, the stone people, the plant people, the fins, the furred, the two-legged, the four-legged, the creepy crawlers, and the winged ones, all of our relations. Pachamama. Aho. Father Sun, Grandmother Moon, and to the star nations, Great Spirit, you who are known by 1,000 names, and you who are the unnamed one, thank you for bringing us together and allowing us to sing the song of life. Aho. I always feel better after opening up sacred space. Not that there was something wrong with me earlier. I just always feel lighter. And so now it's time to do another one of my favorite things, and that is mini gemstone readings. So um, I do what's called Dreaming with Gemstone Gina. And so if you wanted to book a session with me, you can just visit ginavirginiacasella.com. I got a new website. And don't forget to join my Facebook group, Dragon Dreams. But my website has all the information on it. The Facebook group, though, is a good way to connect with me, or here on YouTube. And what I wanted to let you know is that you can book a 45-minute um, gemstone reading with me, yours truly. And it's called Dreaming with Gemstone Gina. And so what I do, I was pleasantly surprised actually, because I was really bending over backwards to create this big schedule where I was going to meet with everybody. But it turns out that after some market research, that the folks, at least my target market, it seems that they just want information emailed to them or sent through a text message or a Facebook message. So um, I think what's best is for me to um, just email you a private link, and that private link I post on YouTube, and then I delete it after a month. And it's a gemstone reading. It's a full gemstone reading. So basically, you just click on the link, and then I get your name and email information. And then within a week, I send you the private link for YouTube. And it's awesome because you can just go there any old time and get it. And like I said, after a month, I delete it, and it's private. So nobody, can watch it unless you share the link with somebody. But you could also download the video or record it. So I like that. And what's really nice about the gemstone readings is they're like tarot cards. They're day in, day out, month in, month out, moment by moment, in, out. So it's not the kind of video that you would want to keep for the rest of your life. But I recommend keeping this kind of stuff because it is helpful to see patterns. Like maybe in the next, reading that you have, something else will be mentioned, and it would be interesting for you to go back and reflect on that information. So, anyways, uh, it's easy for me to get chatty about the things I'm passionate about. I'm sure you can relate. But when I do these gemstone readings on the Saturdays, it's just more of a snapshot, and it's targeted for the collective. And so these gemstones were gifted to me by the Gnome King. I found them at the beach, and there's been some gemstones added to the mix since, and I'm really excited about it. So let's see what comes up for the collective. And this is the new moon reading, so it's the emphasis is on letting go. And I always share what I'm thinking, going through in a generalized way, just for the sake of examples and role modeling, and also for any connections to give confirmation, if you will. So I'm letting go of being perfect. I'm over chatting right now. Who cares? I'm letting that go. I'm having fun. That was something that I said to myself, that I need to let go of being such a workaholic. I need to have more fun. And so even though this is like work, it's actually like I'm having fun doing this. It's a form of play. So I've let a lot of that go, and letting go of what I want to do for my clients and listening to what my clients desire. So, for example, having the gemstone reading, just email to them. Like I said, I'm pleasantly surprised, but folks are absolutely okay not meeting with me. They would prefer not to meet with me. It's just send me a link with the information, good to go. Thank you very kindly. So that really works out for me for my time management. And I feel like that's good flow with the universe. And if you've been following me the past few new moons, it has been a process. And really listening to what clients want and honoring that I'm always going to be my number one client. And the transitions in my life. Those of you who have been following me, the transitions in my life has been another area of focus because I've had to purge a lot, my whole community lifestyle. And I'm convinced that it's made space for my calling. And that space includes doing stuff like this and acquiring my own mentorship and ongoing communities with folks I can connect to. And also just letting go of some contrast. Um, I wonder what you're letting go. So just thinking about me, thinking about you. This is a collective reading. So, what do we need to know, gemstones? Where are we at? What's the focus? Well, remember I was talking about when snakes in real, like waking life, they grow their skin and it gets a bit too thick, that it starts working against them. Like they're supposed to grow skin to protect them, and it's supposed to get thicker and harder. But then it keeps growing and it gets too thick and too hard and it starts blinding them and they can't see. They start getting constricted. It's like they're wearing clothes that's too tight. Well, looks like that's where we're at as a collective. Darn. But the good news is that just means that we have to crack that off, you know? Um, so the good news is that when I look at the gemstones, the um the focus is on snake actually, and the focus is on how we need to crack this off. And the good news is hummingbird is right beside snake, indicating to me that we're just being reminded that whatever bullshit or things that we're letting go, that we're keeping our high quality items with us. So even I always bring up dickism. Even if we were a real dick to somebody, it's never good to be a dick, right? But if you're letting that part of you go where you struggle with regulation and you end up being a real jerk to people, yeah, let that go. But that part of you, that dickism, there's actually a high quality in that. So, yeah, let go of the part of you that's being rude to people, right? But that part of you that's assertive, that's not shy to speak out, that's the part of you. Those are the high quality items that we can bring forward with us. And so we're just, not that you're being a dick and not that I'm being a dick, just for example, maybe for some of you it will resonate. That there's something about us that we're like, yep, see you later, letting that go. But it's like, wait a minute, there's there's some stuff in there that we can pull out and take with us forward. So the good news is when you crack off the skin, it's going to crack off nice and clean, like a nice clean tube. It's not going to be all tethered and hard to come off. But in order for it to crack off nicely like a tube, you need to um, take a look in your luggage, if you will, and sort through the clothing and and honor the high quality items. For example, this is coming to my mind, so I should talk about it. That's something else I'm working on. If it comes to my mind that, did I have a thought or did a thought have me? So a thought is having me. Folks out there who have been violated, especially sexually violated, there's parts of you that you're like, for example, you're like, okay, at this age, this is what happened. I'm letting that go. Hey, well, wait a minute. you don't want to like let go of every single thing, because that would mean letting go of you too. That child, for example, that experienced that. So you want to, yeah, you want to dust the child off of all that crap that went on. You want to dust the child off of all those hurtful feelings and whatnot. But then you want to take the child, the high quality child, and you want to transcend them so that if they have a thought, that they're not triggered and they can move forward. That's another example that's coming through to me. It seems like a lot of us have a lot of thick skin that we need to shed. And like I said, the good news is it'll come off nice and clean. The other good news is the gemstones that represent the goddesses. Um, they are in a big triangle shape, which represents portholes. It represents vagina and fertilization. So we are in the new moon. This is the new moon reading, and the new moon, and the womb, the darkness, it's a two in one. It's the womb and it's the tomb. It's the place of life and it's the place of death. And the goddesses, specifically the dark goddesses that focus on the death part in the life death life cycle, are telling us that yeah, there's death going on, but it's making space, hence this big porthole. So the snake skin, the thick snake skin that we need to shed, that's death, if you will. The snake skin, it's dead. We don't need to carry around this dead weight. Crack it off, and then there's this big porthole womb that we can plant our seeds in. And so the goddesses who represent death, it's like it like kind of doesn't make sense, because you would think the goddesses who represent life would be talking to us, but it's the goddesses who represent death, because they're basically telling us, look, once you shed that skin and pull out the high quality items and move on with your life, basically that's going to make this soil um, fertile, rich, and sweet. So that snake skin is like a compost. And so that's why they're like their energy is with us, the death energy, because we're composting. But this composting is going to be high quality compost, high quality soil, so that we can hummingbird style move forward with our lives. And the next step is going to be with Jaguar to transcend that. And that's going back to what I was talking about earlier. So physically, we are we are um, physically, emotionally, and mentally, the heart rate now is in charge. um, the mental plane should be at the top in the north. It's in the middle. The emotional plane representing the heart should be in the middle. It's in the middle. And the physical plane should be down below in the south, and it is in the east. So to me, this is representing brain heart harmony, the science, and I always like to throw in the gut, brain gut heart harmony. So the heart is always in charge, right? But the information, there's a step by step process, which is appealing to the logical mind. It goes from the information from the epigenetics, the external world that we have no control over, our internal world. We get all this information, and then that's step one. And then step two, send it right to the gut, like a beaver dam, filtering all the information and sorting it. That's what we're doing right now with this snake skin, a thick snake skin. It's hard to see. We just have to trust when we rip it off that hey, it's gone, and whatever we're pulling forward is meant to pull forward with us, even parts that we might not like about ourselves, like that dickism, because it's actually still a high quality that we require right now. It's still part of our programming. It filters in the gut, in the beaver dam. Then it goes to the heart. So the heart right now is in charge. Um, which means that this could be really emotional, getting rid of the snake skin. It's not going to be something where you just crack it off and move on with your life, like I just described, and trust that you pull over the high quality items. It's going to be a bit of a process for you, and it's like a coming together, like the head, the heart, the gut, and it's like, okay, this snake skin is thick. It's hard to see. We're vulnerable. When the skin actually comes off, we're still going to be vulnerable because now we're fresh. We don't have any skin. Um, but you're in the dark, in that heart center. So um, that's really special because that's the womb and tomb that that is all representing. The tree of life, Toby, his roots are planted firmly in the it's like he's germinating, like the roots are like he's not rooted, he's a seed still, and the seed, it's like just starting to germinate. It's not exactly rooting yet. It's germinating and starting to like move. um, Gravity is starting to do its thing. Your dreams are transforming, transcending. The rest of the tree is going to be flowing um, in the eastern direction. So there's going to be a lot of perspective about this snake skin, and the um, seeds that the skin is going to be feeding is going to be about lessons being carried forward. So it's like you've learned lessons, but now you're going to be applying the lessons. So the seed that's germinating is going to be applying the lessons in your life. And hello, Roots and Leaves. Good to see you. Thanks for tuning in. I'm also going to just take a moment and see where the power animals are at. So, snake is in the east. We talked about that. Hummingbird is beside snake. We talked about that. Jaguar is also in the east here. And where's Eagle Condor? Eagle Condor is here. Okay. So basically, I was getting ahead of myself, which is good confirmation. When I was talking earlier about how um, there's parts of us that we want to just get rid of and shed away, it's easy for us to kiss those parts goodbye, see you later, sayonara. But there's actually, we need to go back into that garbage pile and pull out the high quality items. Once you've done that, you're not finished yet. And that's why Jaguar is on this side as well, because Jaguar is reinforcing that, yeah, you need to transform, like crack off this thick skin, but you need to transcend it. Okay. So, um, the way I explain it is transforming something is like, let's say I identify and smash a false inhibiting belief. Let's say every day I wake up and I think, oh, I'm really ugly. And then now I get some help and support through hypnotherapy. And whenever I have that thought, my thinking is redirected. Nope, I'm indifferent to that thought. It doesn't bother me anymore. Okay, well, hold on a second here. That moment where I spontaneously start thinking about it, whether I intended to or not, what happened was my thinking migrated, if you will. So just like whales migrate or birds migrate or comets or mermaids, they make their way around. So the thought that really bothers me and triggers me, maybe I've transformed it. Okay, so I did some work. Great. Now the thought is leaving, it's going away, goodbye, see you later. But that thought ends up making its way around again. energy cannot be created nor destroyed, but it can be transformed. So, aha, my thought is transformed. So when it comes back, it it can't just be transformed, it needs to transcend so that when I think about that thought, I'm like, I'm completely indifferent to it. It doesn't even bother me anymore. In fact, it's something that like, I don't laugh about the situation, but I just laugh about the fact that it used to bother me like it used to bother me. That's when I've completely alchemized and it's gone out of my system. So when it transforms and transcends, when it comes back to me, I'm not triggered at all because that part is now part of me. So it's not some random fragment out there, migrating like a whale. It's like me taking the whale or the shadow, and now we're together. We're whole and holy again. And now together we're migrating. We are transcended. We're together. um, that's kind of a long winded explanation, but I hope it made sense to somebody out there. And that's what's really special about doing these readings. Okay, so when I look at the last power animal over here, I see eagle condor. Eagle condor is in the west. Eagle condor should be in the east. So it's like eagle condor and jaguar have switched places, but they're saying this is really powerful because there's a history. Um, what do you call it? Like not a myth legend, like a prediction that someday the East and the West will unite. Someday, Eastern medicine, Western medicine, Eastern culture, Western culture, everything Eastern, everything Western will come together. Eagle, condor come together and be one. And so um, they're saying, even though we're not where we're supposed to be right now, we're telling you, at least with this new moon, that this is going to help you transcend. This is going to help you bridge the East and the West together. Not just the East and the West, but like your dream life and your waking life, your mental plane with your physical plane, bridging every single thing you can possibly think to bridge. Polaris's focus. I've got one horn in the south, one horn in the east, and hummingbird. It's snake is the focus right now, and that's in alignment with the new moon reading because the new moon is focused on snake. Manus is also hanging out over here in the east, and Manus represents the Akashic records, writing, rewriting, editing, ripping pages out, deleting, whatever you need to do as the rightful author and editor of your Akashic record, the master scriber you are. Um, so Manus is like reminding us that, yeah, when you shed this thick snake skin, it's like it's going to be like the scary part of the story where you take off your coat and you're not sure. Um, but you're in charge of your story. The pen is in your hand. Now, you can't control external factors. You can't control the weather. You can't control other people's moods. You're not responsible for somebody else's happiness, but you can control to the best of your ability yourself. So he's reminding us that you are the author. The pen is in your hand. You have the power to write your story, to change your thinking, to change your life. You have the power to manifest. So now I'm just going to start at the top and go around and just speak to any gemstones that I missed. What I like to do is just talk about whatever ones are standing out. And now I'm going to just start here at the top. So talked about Polaris, the family. Okay, so the family is in the northeast, and the child is in the south. So the child is like um, tucked away, if you will, and the family is um, rushing and passing by. So it's kind of like the child might feel alone. It's kind of like when you're a kid and your parents have company over and you're in bed, you're a child and sleeping, but really you're not sleeping, and it's like hours are going by, and you feel left out and excluded because, for what it's worth, it's still relatively early in the evening. And why can't you be out of bed like the rest? It's kind of like life is happening and flowing around you, but you're in bed sleeping. It's confusing. Um, so there's some of that going on. Sea turtle energy, that is not speaking to me right now. The dog monkey folk, they're not um, speaking right now. The committee of the ones who listen, um, they're not listening right now. Like, I mean, they're always listening, they're always there, but they're not like the focus right now. Um, Earlier, I was talking about dark goddesses. Um, this gemstone in particular represents the divine feminine, and one side has like a dirty spot on it, and that dirty spot is flipped up, reinforcing what I was talking about earlier about how like there's lots of life ahead of us, but we're still in the death part right now. So we're a seed that just started to germinate, and we still have skin to shed. It's not too late. Shed that skin, because that skin is going to help that soil and give us all the nutrients that we need. So if there's things around you that are dying, it could be people. Sometimes it means literal death, but usually it means like um, death of thoughts that you've been having, death of a career, perhaps. Maybe you're having a career change, death of maybe you got a haircut, maybe you've had long hair and now you've got a short perm, death of maybe you always religiously wear red nail polish and now you're like wearing black nail polish, for example. It could also just mean general things like death of the season. Like, even though it's still 2024 for a lot of folks out there, they're actually feeling spring 2025 energy, myself included. So let me know how you relate in the comments to that one. I'd be interested to know. The wise and well whale and orca elders, they're giving space, they're supportive, but they're like watching. They're not always watching, but they're watching. So it's like you're a little baby in the south and you're sleeping, and there you are, and they're just like over there, kind of like, being at the park, and the children are playing, but there's the baby in the stroller, and the grandparents are just sitting there. And what they do is they take the stroller and they bring it by the swings and the teeter totter and whatnot. So the baby is a bit more like engaged and feels like it's more participating. And what the parents might do, and the grandparents, is there might be other siblings playing and running around. And what they'll do is they'll leave the carriage there and go sit on the park bench from a distance. And so they're watching you, even though you've basically fallen asleep and you're not engaged anymore. They just leave you be. So it's like peaceful, easy dreaming that you're having, and they're delighting in this, and delighting in watching you hope and dream. And I forget what I said at the beginning, but I mentioned something about snake and sperm and beginnings and penetration and growing gardens, and the wise and well whale and orca elders. Um, that's their dream language, if you will. And um, also working with the transforming and transcending that I was talking about earlier. The wise and well whale and orca elders are right beside the mental plane, and they're not looking at the mental plane. They're looking at you, the child. You're in charge. the heart is in charge, but the heart needs guidance from the mental plane and the gut. And so um, this is hard for the mental plane. So it's kind of like if I could personify the mental plane, it's like the mental plane is hanging out with the wise and well, whale and orca elders, is having a hard time surrendering um, because the gut has done its thing and now it's in the heart's hands to make decisions. Um, there's two gemstones left. They're not really speaking to me, but this one here represents goddesses, um, specific to Irish Celtic goddesses, and they're up here. So I just get the vibe that um, they're looking down on you, the baby, if you will, hoping and dreaming. And the goddesses, um, typically, they should be in the south and in the southwest. Ideal conditions for, a goddess garden for roses, if you will, a place where it's hot but gets, you know, um, the rain. Um, and it's like they've made space because whatever snakeskin you're shedding, they're going to be right there on top to cover it up with soil so that it can start decomposing and fertilizing all those hopes and dreams that you have. And they're reminding you just to have one focus. That's a subconscious mind thing. Subconscious mind can only focus on one thing. So just try and narrow it down. And collectively, the vibe I'm getting, which I keep repeating, is that it seems like all of us have a really big, thick skin to shed, and we're vulnerable because the skin is too thick. It's hard to see. We're irritable. It's too small for us, our skin. We need to crack it off. We're vulnerable because of this. Once we crack it off, we're still vulnerable because now we're soft. We could crawl and like something could poke us. But we got support. We got support. And I feel like the the warrior goddess is in my mind right now, and she's saying something that she says to me every now and then is strike once with fierce conviction, no repetition. And that's like this snake energy where we coil and recoil and we don't hesitate, we act, and we don't have any regrets. So there's like this notice, nurture, nature cycle that she wants me to communicate to you. And I feel like the warrior goddess in particular is saying it's okay to have these feelings, that me, the biological one known as Gina, that I've been talking about, what it means to have courage, what it means to be scared, what it means to be fierce. And essentially, it means admitting that you're scared and that you're vulnerable and that these are raw feelings to have, and you own them. You own those feelings and you walk forward, even though you're shitting bricks and scared shitless. You keep walking forward. And that's what it means to be fierce. Being fearless doesn't mean having no fear. Being fearless means having fear and not letting that fear overrule you. That's being fearless. And so when that image that was coming to mind, because it's kind of weird that those goddesses are up here and not down here, but they're up here because the warrior goddess is like, let's go and protect. So it's like they're helping to dig a hole, if you will, for you to get all your compost snakeskin in there. They'll help you sort through it. Eagle condor is here, probably to help you with that perspective, to reinforce that no, this is a high quality item, keep it. Wait, that's not a high quality item, get rid of that. You know, um, don't cut yourself short. And this metaphor of as soon as you crack off that skin, they're going to strike once with fierce conviction. They're going to cover it up, no repetition. So they're going to cover up that hole, no repetition. The deed is done. Check off list. The compost will do its thing in compost, and you, the snake that's all vulnerable, you too, you're covered up. You're in the dark, but you're not dead. Just metaphorically, everything is dead behind you, and now you're moving forward. And that's all I'm getting. And so now I need to pull a card, which is something that I love to do. And the card is going to help us reinforce a blind spot or maybe something that really needed to be emphasized. It's going to like really extra emphasize, or maybe something that the gemstones completely forgot to mention. It will just mention that for us. And right here, and this is like the water picked this, like my finger was um it was like the water was searching for the card. Like usually my hands just kind of move around like this, and then it's like, oh, over here, I feel it. But this was like my finger was like, where are you? And it's really cool because guess what card it is? It's my card to let go. So it's kind of weird, but I have to hold this card almost completely to the side for you to see it. Otherwise, the picture fades. Wait, it's not fading. Okay, okay. The universe is working with me here or something. So this card, um, there's the L for Lefty Lucy, letting go. That's everything that I just finished talking about. Um, there's this here, which represents the new moon. So it's dark, but the next step is growth. So it's like a pregnancy or a seed growing. You get the bump, you start getting the light. The moon will start waxing, it's going to start building. So you've let go, but now you need to start tending to your garden, which is everything that I was basically talking about with this whole um, literary devices with compost, and that your garden, like you've got support. The goddesses are protecting the garden. Strike once with fierce conviction, no repetition. That means there's not going to be a need, at least in this case. There's not going to be a need for the goddesses to come back and cover up your seeds and protect you. So that's like very reassuring. Strike once with fierce conviction, no repetition. There will be no rhyme or reason for metaphorically an animal to come by and disturb the area where you have just planted these seeds, where you have just done this compost thing. So that's like really reassuring. And I'm also thinking about um, just things that the waxing moon brings, like the night pollinators. They're always there, but the forest, if you will, just seems to become more and more alive as the light increases, the moon's intensity. I think about um, this here, the golden snake. It's like a python. And then there's this other one, it's black and red. Sometimes it's black and red checkered like that, and sometimes it's like black and it has red lines on it. It kind of looks different every time, but it's definitely black and red. And the black and red snake for me represent primordial. Um, so using colors, there's the gray ball, if you will, that we all come from the God source energy. Then that ball split. So we work with compose and decompose, composing, decomposing, and it um, decomposed into two. So the gray turned into black and white. That black and white created um, two mirrors, if you will. Projection, reflection happened, sacred geometry. and we ended up getting color. So um, the black on this snake is from the black family, if you will. It's not like, this is just very it's not like black skin, white skin. It's just metaphors that I'm using. So the black family is the family that I come from. And if you're listening to this, you're part of my soul tribe, and you too come from the black family. Um, and our aunties, if you will, and uncles, they're the white family, and we have white in us. And there's this figurating that goes on. Um, so we carry the white genes, and they carry the black genes with them. And, anyways, the point is, this snake comes from the black side of the family. And then when you think about the rainbow spectrum, red, yellow, red, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple, um, this snake is a like in the red spectrum. And that's how I can best describe it. And this snake is like a spirit guide that we can all connect with to help us loosen and let go. And this snake is an actual, well, I don't know if it's an actual snake, but it's like a snake or a worm, sperm, something like that, with no arms or legs, a parasite. It's like a primordial insect. It represents that whole kingdom, and it's really cool. And when spirit guides are around us, they have to present themselves in a way that's not going to freak us out, right? Um, but this spirit guide will freak you out. Um, so if you have a spiritual experience and you're freaked out, that's probably because it's this guy here that's connecting with you, and he doesn't mean to freak you out. So what he does is he or she, it's masculine and feminine, but the snake will hide in things like brick walls, like a red brick wall that has like red and black in it, and you'll just kind of see the head. And the head is very small, and that won't freak you out. But if the snake's entire body were to come out of that brick wall, it would just bust the whole wall apart. That's how big and gigantic it is. So, um, if something small is talking to you, and you can't see the rest of it, that's why. So it could be the snake. If you see this snake, it could be in a different form. Let me know. If you're freaked out, it's this spirit, if you will. Um, and that's what it does. It helps you like penetrate, um, smash through brick walls, and it's also there for you to for guidance, to let go, loosen and to let go. Lefty loosey, Lucy Lucifer the snake. There's nothing devil satanic about it. Um, the golden snake is like representative of a python. And I had a dream when I was a kid about a golden python, and it really scared me. And that was the first experience of the power animals connecting with me. And so, um, if you're feeling, because this is a collective reading, so based on the gemstone reading today, without repeating myself too much here, like, um, we are shifting. This isn't just some regular new moon. This is a big one. This is a big one. And actually, somebody told me that next year is the year of the snake. I don't know if that's true, but just the fact that somebody was thinking about when is going to be the next year of the snake made me think in this moment that there's folks out there who are desiring this snake energy, this snake to help loosen and let go, the kundalini and all the other stuff that goes with snake metaphors. Something else about this is the forked tongue. Um, there was a time, well, there was a lot of times where I felt very lost, some more lost than others. And in my dream journal, when I was really getting into things and things were getting a little creepy in a positive way because I was making progress, um, there's like the committee of the ones who listen, the committee, the ones who see. So the ones who see, those are the wise and well whale and orchid elders. The one who listen, that's the gemstone I have that it looks like a dog ear. But there's also the ones who taste. And there was this interesting thing that I was playing around with these storylines that there's different committees out there looking for me, and the ones who taste and the ones who smell have a buddy system, because in real life, in waking life, our sense of taste is absolutely directly linked to the taste to the sense of smell. So I thought if the two teams work together, taste and smell, that they could help find me, and I could, my spirit guides and I, that I'm feeling lost and disconnected from, that we could bridge and be closer together, these fragments and shadows of me. And the image of the forked tongue was very distinct. So if you're feeling um, lost, think about um, animals, insects that have forked tongues. The snake has a forked tongue. The hummingbird has a forked tongue. What the fuck else has a forked tongue? um, uh, um, the praying mantis. Does the praying mantis have a forked tongue? Um, find out if you're feeling lost and you don't know how to sort out your high quality items, the thick skin that you're shedding. You can get support from forked tongue folk, and don't limit it to snake. Snake has buddies, if you will. And that's all that's coming to me right now. Um, some of you are gonna get like freaked out, not because there's a stranger man in the middle of the night knocking on your door. Call 911. I'm talking about like an energy experience or like a dream where you wake up and you're like, oh my God, like some of you are going to experience that, and that's going to be like your kundalini and this thick skin that you're shedding. For some of you, you're feeling really lost, and you're already like in connection with guides. You've already been there, done that with kundalini, and this one's more for you, like calling it in, which can feel scary and intimidating. And I'm just reminding myself in this moment that um, the last book that I published, An Elephant's Anthem for Liberation, um, that whole storyline kind of rooted is rooted in that dream journal. So now I'm just starting to have my own. Like I feel like I got to wrap this up and start doing my journaling. Do you feel like that? Maybe you've been journaling while I've been chatting along here, and as you can see, that's why this little routine that I do is easily 45 minutes. And so if you would like me to do a personal reading on you, visit my website, ginavirginiacasella.com. You'll see a link to click on, Dreaming with Gemstone Gina. And basically, I do this, but it's specifically about you. And based on your email, I just think about you, and and whatever comes up comes up. So let's close some sacred space. But before we do that, let's just do some fire ceremony, which is all about letting go. And you know what? This morning I wrote a special journal, and I'm one of those people that I feel like I'm in the spring of 2025. And so I'm just um, had a very challenging 2024. And I feel emotional in this moment because there's so many parts about 2004 where I'm just like, oh my God, it's like a football player. I'm like, just get out of here, right? Get out of here, stupid moments. But there's a lot of moments in 2024 where it's like I just want to cling to and never want to let go of. Um, and I know that the heartaches have made space and that I'm on the right track. And even just doing this live and sharing this with people. And um, if you've been following me, you might think of me as somebody who's always crying and getting emotional. But for what it's worth, and I think this is a powerful connection to make in this moment for me, anyways, is that I actually have a hard time crying, and that's something that I've been working on. And crying's coming to me more easily and naturally. And I've learned that for me, crying is just something that spontaneously comes, and sometimes it just comes and it's over. And it's like breathing; it's part of my breathing. It's part of my rhythm, and in that. Um, I came out of the spiritual closet late winter, and I mean, I can't put an exact date on it, but I think um, that's pretty much when I've been a bit more open about my crying, because it just happens, because it's a present moment thing, and I think it freaks some people out. Uh, and that's all part of being authentic, being open, authentic, thankful, and honoring those holy instances. And for me, I guess crying is a holy instance. And just a reminder, you can check the schedule. I'll be coming live on Saturdays, 11 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time, till the end of March. And and then I'm gonna have like a Zoom meeting that people can sign up to. And I'm letting go of what I'm doing right now. I think it's the teacher in me. I'm used to teaching kindergarten up to grade 3. I taught up to grade 9, but mostly K to 3, and mostly kindergarten. So after I read a story, I mean, if I can keep them sitting there and engaged and having a conversation, even if we get off topic, like just the fact that we're there and spending time together. And I feel like that's what I'm unintentionally doing now. Is this is the part now where I would take some quiet hands. Who has a nice quiet hand out there? So, um, goodbye 2024. Keeping all my high quality items with me and really resonating in today's collective new moon reading, and having the humility to recognize that I'm part of the collective too. I didn't like that. I didn't like that my snake skin is too thick and I'm vulnerable. I didn't, ugh, but you know, being honest and starting somewhere, you got to start somewhere. So let's transcend our lives. And I always wait until can't see it anymore until it's done glowing. And I always feel better after fire ceremony. Closing our sacred space. And I thankful and grateful for the guidance and support of the great winds, snake reminding us to let go, jaguar helping us to transcend so we can become unstuck, hummingbird reminding us to only drink the finest nectar, and eagle condor for us to be open to perspective, even if we don't want to hear it, to be open to the perspective and to welcome the perspective of others because some of us are going to be getting perspective through our dreams, through guides, and some of us are going to be getting um, just uh, perspective in general, even just from listening to this gemstone reading. So some folks listening have never heard of eagle condor, so they're gonna Google eagle condor. What does that mean? And gain perspective from that. And some folks have never heard of me before, and they're gonna Google me and gain perspective from that. So there's excitement, and I'm thankful for my guides, Polaris, Amanda, Toby, for your input and guidance, and the warrior goddesses, that protective energy over our vulnerability. We can be vulnerable because of you. Thank you. So, deep peace to you all. It is 12:08. I thought it was 12 o'clock. I thought that 8 was a 0. I don't know what happened that last little bit, but I had a fantastic new moon with you, and I'll see you next Saturday. And I'm going to be doing cooking with Gina, so I'm going to be posting that video later. Thank you so much for joining me today live. My name is Gina Virginia Casella. Please like and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Like this video. I would love for you to join my Facebook group, Dragon Dreams. We have a wonderful community there, and I would just adore for you to sign up for one of my programs. Check that out, ginavirginiacasella.com. And you can absolutely order one of my books, Dragon Dreams, on Amazon.ca, or you can get it immediately on Kindle. And if you're feeling overwhelmed with the links, don't worry. GinaVirginiaCasella.com. That's the website. It's got everything there, and it's also posted in the description. So happy new moon to you. May you weave your wisdom in the dark. And I hope you have a wonderful Saturday. Take care, and I will see you next week if I don't see you on Cooking with Gina before then.